Welcome back to We Scale Creators podcast. What are we at? Number 5 now?
Number 5. Let's go.
Let's
every
go.
week.
Number
New
5.
episodes live every week.
Cool. Well, we're going to be diving into today is our client fly out process, how we go out there, how we script the ads, how we actually record the ads, and how we really have a moat with this that no other agencies, at least in our space that I know of, actually do, that allows us to, generate hundreds and hundreds of ads for our partners and deepen relationships and so much more that we'll be diving into here.
Yeah, there's a couple of very important aspects of how beneficial these are, not only for our relationship with our partners, but also our relationship internally with other members of our team. So there's going to be some hidden gems in this episode. I already know it. So make sure to stick through the entire thing, because this has been an absolute game changer for what we do at We Scale Creators, both in terms of the quality of our work and the quality of our relationship. So I'm excited about this. This is a big episode. It's a big unlock for, at least for us, I can say.
Yeah. So as we've talked about in previous podcast episodes, right now in 2026, especially if you want to scale aggressively, on meta ads, you need creative velocity, you need creative volume. Most agencies are out there launching 5 to 10 creatives a week, which ends up fatiguing their ads, not allowing them to have longevity on their funnels. And one of the reasons behind this is, they have to actually go out there, they have to script the ads, they got to send it to the client needs to record it on their own time. And, it's like, how many ads can you actually get them to record when you do this? So what we do at We Scale Creators, since the inception of our company, essentially, is we actually script everything out. We're going to be diving into that entire process. We fly out to our partners and we record everything in person. And we do it in a very, very strategic and efficient way. And, it also, there's so much that goes into this, from not just getting the sheer amount of ads that we get, but the connection that we get, relationship that we get with our partners, and, just setting the tone from the relationship from day one. As soon as we take on a new partner, we're already there. We're meeting them. We're building that relationship, getting everything recorded. They can see how professional we are, and, so on and so forth.
I mean, literally day one, too. Like you and I, back when we first started this company and we had nothing, we had no business, we had no partners, we didn't have any offers live. This is one of the first things that we did with our OG partners. We're like, okay, here's the plan. This is what we want to do. We got to go pitch them on it. And then if they like it, which we think they are going to like it, we got to capture a lot of content. So we did this exact process when we were a two-man agency, all the way up to where we are now doing, on pace to $20 million in 2026. And we're going to continue to do this for as long as we have a company, because it truly is that valuable. And that first client shoot that we did way back in 2024, that set the stage for everything that we have now. And that partner is still with us to this day. So that just goes to show how powerful the initial 2-hour dinner that we had with that partner and everything that led on after that, it all started from this flyout process. So
yeah, how many agencies go out there meet? How many agencies do that? Like, go out there and actually meet their partner face to face? I think people really undervalue, like, business is a game of people, right? You need to build relationships. You need to have that in order to have longevity with your partners. So I guess it all starts with the scripting process, right? Before the actual shoot, how do we go about scripting things? How do we plan it? How do we organize it? And, obviously everything begins with copy, right? So depending on if it's your first shoot or, you're 3 shoots in, it's going to be a little bit different, because if you're 3 shoots in, you have all this data, right? We have all kinds of data on winning ads, what's underperforming, what are the patterns that we're seeing across all of our winning ads. What language are we using? What messaging is resonating? What messaging is not resonating? And essentially what we do is we look at that data, or if we don't have it, we'll use our best judgment in congruent to the new funnel that we're creating. We'll pre-script everything, right? So nothing is improvised. Everything is based on levels of awareness, which is one of our key, things that we always talk about here, is we script them by levels of awareness: unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, most aware. Everything is organized by hooks, by bodies, by different angles, between direct angles, problem state angles, curiosity based angles, contrast and differentiation based angles. Everything is laid out. And then we go even further and we map out everything, by location, by outfit, by like whether we're recording it in a car, whether we're recording it in front of a business, whether we're recording it in green screen, everything.
And this process, again, whether it's with a client who we've had for 6 to 12 months or someone that we just signed, it's the first time we're meeting them, this is a very collaborative process, especially at our agency, at least. Like you and I have our own ideas. We have our creative director. We've had our performance marketing. We have our copywriter. We have all these different people who all play a role in the creative process. And we like this to be collaborative because especially when we're starting off and we don't have any data, like you were explaining, we're open to testing. Like we're open to rolling out as many new ideas as possible and as much that we can capture in that initial shoot, the more ideas and the more awareness level angles and all the different items that we're going to be able to test. So we like to make it a very collaborative and process internally. Everyone kind of brings their own ideas. And then what we end up doing is boiling those down to what are the absolute must haves, like the angles that everyone loves that we agree on. We got to get footage of this. And those all go on the priority list. And then we ultimately create a backlog of different ideas that if we end up having more time during that first shoot with the partner, cool, we'll get some of those knocked out, or those just stay in the bank. And then we go and we fly out again in 45 days, 60 days, whenever that second shoot ends up being. We've already got a lot of ideas. So it's very important, at least for us, that we make these collaborative because we got a lot of smart, creative people on our team and they all might think of slightly different angles that, just me or you might have not thought of otherwise.
Yeah. The biggest key to these, that make these work is the creative variety of different angles as well as different locations. You need to have different locations. If you have 30 ads that are the same exact background, you're going to get dinged by Facebook and Andromeda is not going to necessarily like it. You need to have creative variety. So that's one of the key things that we really prioritize with these shoots is all kinds of different angles as well as all kinds of different locations. And like I mentioned earlier, wardrobe is important too. You want to make sure that you have different t-shirts on or different jackets, different outfits. We've had, stylists actually come out of some of these shoots with some of our really, really, bigger clients to ensure everything is going to be unique. Everything's going to be good. That's how we that's how we get 50 to 100 winning ads out of these shoots. It's because of the variety that we have pre-planned before we even go to these shoots.
Yep. The variety matters a lot. I mean, it's as you explained, Andromeda and even on any platform, right? If we just send a client the scripts and they go and they film it sitting at a desk like this, they're most likely, even though our clients are mostly content creators, like they're just going to be like, all right, I got a task. I got to knock these out. They're going to sit here. They're going to read off the script wearing one shirt. So they're not even going to be thinking about, do I need a camera crew? Do I need 2 videographers? How do I get different locations? What's the different outfits that I need? Even if we go and we tell them all of that, which we would if we didn't end up flying out to them, it's just not as likely that they're going to do it. Versus if we're there, we're able to literally direct the entire shoot like a movie in order of priority of location, priority of outfit, priority of script. So we're able to come in and honestly make their time so much more efficient because we're crystal clear on what exactly that plan is and what outfits and what locations and what scripts we're going to be filming in what order before we even, step foot into the location with the first client.
Yeah. Outside of the variety and the locations and outfits, it's also really important to get different ad formats. And what I mean by that is, not just direct to camera ads. Like most agencies are going to be setting a script and they're like, 30-second ads, direct response style. And those work great. I mean, don't get me wrong. We run a lot of our ads like that, but it's also important to get different formats like Q&A based, right? More fun stuff, more story, like sit down interview style. Some of our highest converting ads have been not, straight up direct response talking to camera, but more so, a Q&A kind of ad or you sit them down and you interview them and they elaborate deep on their story and their kind of hero's journey and how they went from where they were to where they are now. And, because that's all marketing is, right? You're taking somebody from point A to point B. So when you can get your, partner in front of the camera and they can really elaborate on that, it also allows us to compile that into a bunch of different clips. Now we have little clips that we can use. Like, our editors will go out there and they'll joint clips together, right? They'll look at a story-based clip, mix it with a DR-based script. They'll do different intros, different hooks with different bodies, and that allows us to go out there and now we have 50 ads and maybe we have 25 other hooks. We can turn that into a couple hundred ads right out the gate. And different formats are really, really important. And that's why flying out to our partners is so valuable for us because we can get so many different of these formats to go out there and launch and test.
And we've done some fun ones too. Like I'm
a lot of fun ones.
Like last summer, I know we did a couple of shoots with clients, and we had them throwing money around. We had them ripping pieces of paper, popping balloons, wearing freaking costumes, and all this stuff that we do. And those are the ideas, especially when you're with a new partner. it kind of lets them know, hey, we're here for business, but we can do some fun stuff too. I mean, who doesn't like doing fun stuff on camera as long as they're open to doing it? And again, most of our clients are content creators, but it also, to your exact point, we can test so many different, scroll stopping, give different visual hooks, even stuff that's being done pre-post production, just live raw to camera footage. We don't know if any of that's going to work. And we might test 30 different fun, creative angles. We might find 5 that actually do really well. And once we get data, we know these stop the scroll, this hook works well. And then we can take those same either concepts or that initial footage itself and apply it to tons of different winning bodies that we have. We can do mashups of hooks, like you were explaining, where we take winning hook A, winning hook B, put them back to back, and now it's a double whammy. But the most important thing is we're not just testing one angle or one outfit or one location. We're coming in with so much variety, because at the end of the day, testing all that variety and doing as much as you can, as fast as you can, is ultimately how you find winning ads in 2026.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, these little things go a very long way. Like when you have a client that has a brand that has certain props or props that are congruent with their brand, and you bring these props to the shoot, that goes a long way. The client sees that you're actually putting in that effort. They see how good we are at what we do, especially if it's our first shoot with them and we come in and we have everything organized, because really what we prioritize is efficiency, right? We have everything mapped out, what ad we're going to record in what order, what outfit. We send it to them ahead of time to pre-approve and be prepared, essentially. And then we come in, we knock them all out one by one. We tell the partner exactly what to do. They do it. They see how smooth of a process it is. And that builds a lot of trust working with us. They see how professional and damn good we are at what we do. And like I just said, bringing in the props as well, a lot of times they won't even know. Like we'll bring in special props that are perfectly congruent to their brand, and that goes a long, long way with our partners.
Yeah, and some of those rip too. I mean, those ones that we did for a couple of different partners during the holiday season with Santa hats and gingerbread and candy canes and all that stuff. Those ads did really, really freaking well too, because they aligned with the brand, they aligned with the campaign itself, they aligned with what's going on in the world. And that's how we created some of the best ads we've ever done. So ultimately, it's the variety that really matters. Get creative with it, get fun with it. Don't be so serious all the time, but do it in a methodical manner where you're able to get as many ads in as short of a time frame as possible. Because the last thing you want to do is, promise this client a big shoot. You get out there, you're looking unprofessional. Maybe you only get 10 ads. Well, they could have just done that themselves. So we want to go, they can get 10 ads themselves in a couple hours. How do we get 100 ads in a couple hours? That's what really blows their mind. It allows us to get, the data and the results that we get for their offer.
Yeah, and it's a whole team effort, right? I know our last episode, we talked about our pod worms and how we analyze every offer and go over what's working and what's not. And our entire creative team, our copywriter, our media buyer, our designers, our editors, we're all looking at the actual data and we're coming up with new ideas, right? And we do the same exact thing with shoots. Like our entire team will sit down and we'll determine, hey, we have, this is a great idea. We should try this. And then our another person on our team will one up that idea or elaborate on and figure out how to make it better. And now, before the shoot even happens, we have an entire idea bank on different formats and different angles and what's working, and we can put together something that we know we're going to go out there, we're going to crush it, because typically it's based on data, and we have an entire team with everybody's brain focused on making this the best shoot it could possibly be. And one of the most valuable things here too is having a great videographer and editor that also is a creative, right? Like almost like a creative director. A lot of times we'll go out there, our copywriter will script out a ton of ads, they're all phenomenal, and our videographer will have 10 of his own ideas based on his experience being a videographer, and some of those have been our highest performing ads ever. So it's really, really critical for us to have our entire team really strategizing on everything together. It allows us to get much better ideas, much better ads. Obviously, as a team effort, we're going to get much better, ideation than one copywriter writing everything.
Yeah, I mean, if we pin it all on one person in a set amount of time to come up with all the angles, like, I don't know if writer's block is the right word. It might be more like creative block, but then they're thinking very like binary, versus if we talk about it, weeks and weeks, even months in advance of when the shoot's happening. We just start to plant the seeds, and other team members start to plant the seeds of ideas that could work, and maybe they need to be a little bit more fleshed out. It almost gives it time to marinate. Like the idea marinates a little bit. And then we can go, okay, we got, a week and a half until we go film with this client. We got to have the scripts done in a couple days. We have all these ideas that have been thought out, and you and I have reviewed them and we've approved them, or we said, hey, it's a good idea, but can you expand on this a little bit more? It allows the ideas to be much more free flowing. And when you're doing anything creative, I mean, anyone who's doing creative knows this, you got to have time to expand on those ideas and think deeply about them and go on walks or whatever you need to do. But when we do that in a collaborative setting during our pod war room meetings, by the time the copywriter is like, all right, I gotta roll on these scripts, I gotta get them ready, they themselves have thought of so many ideas, and they've captured so much additional creative power from everyone else on the team that that's the best possible recipe that we could have.
Yeah, we have that kind of strategy time. We put everything together. Our copywriter puts everything together. Our head of performance marketing will review it. Essentially, on a shoot day, we fly out the night before. We obviously get everything on our own dime. We come on as capital partners as well, right? So we're paying for the hotel. We're paying for the flights. The partner has absolutely no risk. If we get a studio, we're paying for that studio. Come over the night before. We meet them the next morning. We typically get everything done in about 4 hours. And little pro tip as well, get some fun ads in there and save them for the end of the shoot, right? Like you want to leave your partners on a high. So you get all the hard work done. You get everything done, very strategically, efficiently. They see how good you are. And then around the end of the shoot, maybe do some more funny angles or more brain rot kind of ads. And some of those work really freaking well, right? But I think little small tip that goes a long way is you save a lot of the fun stuff around the end of the shoot. And then you leave your partners on a nice high, when you leave essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100%, because they got a lot of talking to a camera for 4 hours at a time, going through all these different things, and I messed up on this script, I messed up on that. But at the end of it, they're pretty freaking burnt out most of the time, especially we've been going for a long time. And it's like, hey, partner, actually, I'm going to throw this at you on camera, and you're going to catch it, slam it on the ground. And they're like, oh, okay. It's like it brings some energy back into them. And then we're like, all right, cool, we're done. And then they're like, oh, that was sick. So it just ends it on a good high note. And then, we want to go above and beyond versus just, all right, man, well, good shoot. See you next time. We'll let you know when these are done. Ideally, if, schedule allows it, at least on their side, we like to continue to extend that trip and the relationship with them as much as possible. So we'll go and we'll grab dinner. We'll go and we'll hang out at, their house. We've met some of our partners' families before. We've met their teams before if we're in their office. So we're already there. And we want to take advantage of that time as much as we possibly can outside of just the shoot. And again, like you said, if we ended on a high note, they're jazzed up. They're like, oh, cool, you guys want to go grab dinner? It's like, yeah, of course, man. We're already here. We just had a great time. We got everything done. And that's really where the magic happens. And we can start to deepen not only the, one-to-one relationship, but also the business relationship in terms of pitching them new ideas and stuff like that, right after we just got a lot of good quality.
That is absolutely where the magic happens. Before we dive into that, because that's one of the most valuable things, I want to talk about the actual creative direction, because you're really, really good at this during these shoots. So a lot of the partners we work with they're creators, right? So they're already really good on camera, but they're human too. They're going to mess up, or they're going to say things with the wrong tonality. One thing that you're really good at on these shoots is catching them and making them say, hey, say this in a different way. Say this part with more energy. I don't know if you want to elaborate a little bit more on that, because I also feel like that builds a lot of trust. We know what we're talking about. They can, I'll let you elaborate on that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's two examples of it, right? It's like if they're doing it on their own, they're just going to rip through the ads. Maybe they might completely fumble a word or something like that. And then they're like, oh, I got to redo that. But they're just going to try to get through it. But when we're with them and I've got a headset on and our videographer's shooting and he's telling them the script, what I'm looking for is, are there certain inflection points in their voice that we really want them to emphasize? Are their eyes, moving around? Are they not looking directly at the camera when they're saying something? Like all these little things can honestly make or break an ad. And if we're only looking at it with the intention of, let's just get it all done as fast as we possibly can, those are things that get missed. And then when we get in a post and the team's looking at them, it's like, oh, well, this guy was staring at his phone or kept looking down at his phone during the clip. We can't even use this now. So that kind of stuff matters. It matters for the editors. It matters for the media buyers who are actually launching the ads. But also, like you were saying, it goes to show the partner that we know what we're doing. Like if I'm listening and I don't hear some right, I'm like, hey, can you just go back and say that one line again? Start at this word. And they're like, oh, okay. And they go and redo it. And you can see in real time them realizing like, oh, okay, yeah, I actually did say it better this time. And again, you do that for the course of multiple hours, builds a lot of trust, and we end up getting the best possible ads that we can. And sometimes we don't even need them to redo that much, but those little things that you could very easily just skip and ignore and, oh, we want to keep moving on to the next one, that kind of stuff matters. It matters
a lot. And it goes to show how serious we are about making these ads convert, and we want to help them improve, and we want to make them the best they can be. They can see that, they can sense it, and they value that a lot. It really, shows our professionalism during these shoots. So
even real quick on that too, even with like you and I try to go and be on most shoots that we can, but sometimes for scheduling reasons or whatnot, we can't make it to every single one, especially with clients that we've had for a long time, or maybe something was booked last minute. So shout out to our team. Sometimes it's one guy, sometimes it's two people that end up going out there and knocking those shoots out without us. They have that same mindset. They are looking for quality. They're looking for authenticity. They're looking for fun. So we've been able to distill all the stuff that we've talked about here, not only amongst ourselves, but also amongst our team. And then we get those texts or those emails from the clients like, oh, I just wrapped up with so-and-so. Freaking killed it, man. That guy's awesome. Like those are the kind of things that go a really long way, not only for, our relationship with the partner, but then we tell our guys that like, dude, you guys freaking crushed it. If his partner's ecstatic, that brings their morale up 100x. And it's like, this is the WeScale creator standard, and it simply must be hit. Must be hit at all times. Even
these little things are going to be the most valuable nuggets out of this entire episode. These little small things that we're saying, like what Nate just touched on, when our videographers go without us and they crush it, and our team, or they send us a text and say, hey, this guy did a phenomenal job. One of the reasons that happens, not only because, our team is great, and big shout out to them, but it's because of the pod worms that we do every single week, because now our videographer and our editor and whoever's going to these shoots has clarity on all of the data for the client. So when the client is talking about the results and, our team member is like, yeah, we just did $450,000 at 3.23x for ROAS last month. They're like, wow, like as a videographer, you wouldn't always expect like someone from, someone's team flying out as a videographer to know all of the data and know everything about their business. But because we do these weekly pod forums and we strategize together, the entire team is in the loop on everything, all of the financials, what the last month's revenue was, what's on the horizon, what is in our quarterly plan that we intend on launching in the future. Let's say we have a quiz funnel coming up and our videographer knows about it and he touches on that during the shoot. It really, really goes a long freaking way that they can talk to him and they know he's in the loop on everything.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. And I know I've worked with them before. Is a lot of these creative agencies who do send people out to your location, even if they are internal, but most of the time it's like, oh, I'm gonna get the client's in LA, I live in so-and-so, I'm going to find a local LA videographer and just have him go out and shoot that. And don't get me wrong, it's better than no one being there at all. But to your exact point, if the partner goes, hey, well, like, what do you do for this company? They're like, oh, I'm just videographer. But our team, it's almost like we're there when we're not there, because they know just as much as we do about where they're at, where we plan on taking their offer, and they're able to instill just as much excitement. And, our partners haven't said it, but I know they're sitting there going like, man, if your videographer knows this much about what my offer is and what my business is, like, what about all the people on your team that I haven't met? And that really elevates our standard and our quality, with them and in the results. That stuff is massive, massive, massive. It's huge. One of the most important things we do.
It really is. Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about post-production, because this is really, really important as well in terms of how fast we churn out these ads, because we have processes set up for everything in Asana, in Frame. I know you built the entire Frame kind of system, so I think that'd be valuable for you to kind of expand on.
Yeah, we learned this one a little bit through trial and error, but initially, when we're building the company, it's like, oh, we got a Google Drive link, we throw stuff in Drive and we give it all to the videographer and, have them figure out where everything is. But we kind of learned the hard way that it takes hours, especially when we shoot hundreds of ads. It takes hours and hours to like sort through all that footage. So now, credit to our creative director and our videographer team for helping me figure this out. But what we've been able to do now is a very systematic, it's almost like an assembly line. Like we're assembling the tools, which is the raw footage, all the way into the toy, which is the end product, the end ads that we're doing. So once things get done, they're dropped into a specific folder. Those are then sorted by awareness level or by location or just by the angle or the campaign that we're going after as a whole, whatever becomes first priority. So now everything is sorted. And when things go and move into Asana to be assigned of a team, because we got to get these freaking ads live right away, they know, cool, I need this many. I got to have them done by this date. One click right into where all of that footage exists alongside all of the scripts. So when they're editing it, they can look at what the client was supposed to say, because sometimes they go off script a little bit. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, but they have all of the resources that they need. And we've had times where we do a shoot with a client on a Tuesday. We get that footage up by Tuesday night. By Wednesday afternoon, we've got a freaking batch of ads already done because it's such a systematic process that we put that footage through. It's unbelievably valuable for them, and it allows us to get these ads churned out so much faster.
Yeah. I mean, everything we do at the highest level of professionalism, even as far as the, camera that we use. I don't know, it's like a set $6,000 to $8,000 camera. Like everything we do, we want to make sure it's the absolute highest quality, especially when you're working with bigger creators, right? Little things like that go a long way as well. You want your quality of your content to be as literally HD as it can possibly be. Bring a teleprompter. Teleprompter helps tremendously. You pretty much need to have one, whether you use an actual one or use an iPad or whatever. You want to make sure that that's going to help increase efficiency a lot, give the partner a much easier experience recording everything. And that's pretty much the main things, right? It's having a top of line camera, it's having a good teleprompter, and then it's whatever prompts that we essentially want to bring. Don't tripods, equipment, stuff like that.
Don't forget about the audio too. The last thing that you want is to get all this awesome footage. Then you get back in post and you listen to the audio and it sounds awful. So our video guys sometimes will have 2 full suitcases worth of shit that we're bringing to these shoots, but that's what's required. I mean, think about a movie set. Like they've got every single thing you could possibly need. Well, why? Yeah, they have a lot of money, but they're doing it to make the time and the time after the filming day as efficient as possible. So, you don't need to go crazy and buy $20,000 worth of gear, but it's very important that you have every single thing that you need. And don't forget to click record either. That's a important thing.
You want to make sure you're elevating their brand with your marketing, right? You don't want to just market and then essentially hurt their reputation or brand, especially if you're working with creators or bigger partners that really value their brand, which every single partner that we take on really does value their brand. So we need to ensure that we're helping them elevate their brand through our equipment, through our scripting. I mean, everything that we do pre-script. Also, we have creative playbooks for every single partner that we work with extreme detail on their tonality, things that they say, things that they don't like saying. This is all very, very important, right? And it makes your shooting experience so much smoother. It makes the client trust you more. It's language that is congruent with language they're already using in their content, and also based on things that we're running that are working. And it's like, here are the top 5 points in every ad that we mention. And, we want to incorporate those all into our shoot. So we do that with a creative playbook. Everything is prepped ahead in that creative playbook, and it helps us out a lot.
And it looks different for every client, right? Even some clients are in the same niche, but what their actual, filming days, their shoot days look like might be completely different. Like every client's got a different story, and we have to align that story with the marketing that we do. And that's where we create, the best ads in the world, in my opinion, and the results end up showing for it.
Yeah. Yeah, back to where the magic happens. It really is the time in between recording, and it's the dinners that you do with your partners. This is the number one biggest things. It's where we have the biggest plays and the biggest revenue kind of generating unlocks. and, just bigger business ideas that we do with them. Like, for example, one of the things that we try to do with long-term partners is we try to develop either SaaS products or apps, right? So in the direct response kind of info marketing space, everybody's focused on selling, let's say, just info or educational products, and that's great for cash flow. What it's not great for is actually building a company that you can go on and exit and essentially, build really, really long-term MRR and real value. And the only way you could do that is with kind of bigger business plays, right? And those ideas really get discussed during the dinners that we do with our partners. And obviously, you want to take them to a really nice place. Every partner we take on a dinner, we end up spending, $1,000 to $1,500, right? Obviously, on us, we want to take care of them. And that really is where the magic happens for relationship building as well as big, big plays.
And it depends on, when we're shooting with the client. The first time we meet with them, we might, we'll definitely talk about the vision that we have and goals and where we want to go. But a lot of the times it's just getting to know them. Like, oh, so like how long you been here? And, oh, your family does this. And then we talk about locations, and you just get to know them on more of a human level. That's harder to do when you're, looking on a Zoom recording through a camera. There's something different about that. And it establishes a great foundation for the relationship moving forward, which ends up paying massive dividends. And it humanizes everything. When you're talking to someone through a screen, it's very easy to, say one thing or, maybe be more aggressive or not trust them or whatever the negative thing might be. But when you get to know that person in real life and you're like, this guy's a human, he's got a family, he's got goals, he's a real tangible human being, there's something to that. And then some, vice versa, if it's our third or fourth time meeting the partner and it's the start of the year, or maybe we just came off of a hot launch with them and they might be thinking like, what's next? Like, what do these guys have in mind? Boom, we freaking got a binder. We have images, we have demos, we have all this stuff ready to go, pulled up on laptops or in person. And they're like, what's next? And we're like, we got you. Here's what's next. And
we've done that several times where we legitimately bring a binder, an actual binder where we'll actually print out their face. We'll put it in the front of the binder. We'll go to dinner and we'll pull it out, right? We have the quarterly plan. We have all the next big ideas. It also really, they can sense your passion, right? They know that we care more about their success almost than they do. And that's something they can sense in person, especially when we bring, prepare, or we come prepared. We have economics and metrics planned out, and we're sitting there in person with them presenting all of this, and they get, again, they could sense our energy, they could sense our passion, they know we're serious, they know we want to elevate their brand, we're going to make them a lot more money, and it goes such a long way. No other agencies do this.
No, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, but like that's how things used to be done. You have a meeting and then you go to dinner, and that's where the real magic happens. That's where the handshakes get made. That's where the deals get done. And it's very similar to this. We have our meeting, we have our shoot, and then now it's like now the floodgates are open. We've been with them all day. Vibes are good. We're getting maybe drinks, no drinks. We're getting bread. We're getting apps. We're getting dinner or stuff that we need. And we're just talking. We're just very much in a flow state with them at that point. And then we layer that in with the massive vision that we have for their offer. They're like, these guys are fucking legit. These guys care a lot. And that level of caring, that level of love that we, genuinely put into all of our partners and all the offers that we're working on for them, you feel that. You feel it through a screen, but you really feel that in person. We're getting amped up about this idea that we have for them in Q3 of this year, and it's March, and they're like, man, I didn't even think about that. I couldn't even see that far. And these guys are seeing that far for me. That stuff it's awesome. It's really fulfilling for us too,
Yeah, that's how you get referrals too. I mean, agencies that struggle with getting referrals, it's like they just don't have a good enough relationship with their partner. If you sit down at dinner and you present all these ideas to them and you really build that relationship, they're gonna refer you business. There's no other way about it, right? They trust you. They know you. They've felt your energy. They know how good you are. You're gonna get more business from it. So that's another thing with how important these dinners are and just meeting your clients in general.
Yeah, and it's like when people send referrals, they think, okay, one of my friends or a client or a partner or whoever, needs help with X. Immediately what they go to is who is best in the world at X. And it's hard to establish yourself as that, especially with someone who's very well connected. But if you meet them in person and you have that relationship with them and they see the results of your work, whether it's for a month or for a year, they're going to be like, oh, We Scale Creators is the friggin' best in the world at this. And I've met these guys. I know they're legit. I know what their passion is. And I like this person who I'm about to refer to them. So immediately We Scale Creators becomes top of mind. And that's something that, we build on over a long period of time. We don't come in right off the bat, expecting it. We'll take it. But once we have these relationships and this foundation with our clients for 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years in some cases, we're always going to be top of mind. And we're grateful that we're able to do that, but it's not unintended. There's a reason that we're able to get the referrals that we do and be top of mind for our partners. It's because of all the work that we put in.
Yeah, it really is an unfair advantage. Like, that relationship built in person is 10 times more valuable than you'll ever get on a Zoom call. Nobody else does it. It is, it costs us money, but it's an absolutely incredible investment for us, right? One shoot will fund 2 to 3 months, of new revenue that we're going to unlock from all the new ads that we do, plus all the data that we're going to get from it from our future shoots, which now we're going to intertwine into, the next shoots that we do. Every shoot gets us more data. We make it better and better and better for future shoots. Creators' only job is to show up, read the lines on camera, have a good time with us, go out to dinner, talk about some big business ideas, and they go on their way, right? That's one of the biggest things when working with creators is we want to be, efficient with their time in terms of not just on the shoot, but afterwards. It's very efficient in the sense that now we have enough ads for 60 to 90 days, right? So now they're pretty much not doing anything other than actually running the operations for the offer. We have enough material for months, and we're able to scale that offer very, very aggressively. We're able to have so many different angles, that we can test, and the creator's making money without investing that much time.
Yeah, and it's fun. These shoots really are fun. I mean, we've had some great times. We made vacations out of stuff. We've gone places with partners. We've hung out with them, for long periods of time after the actual shoots. We've been to their house. We've gone to events with them. We've done a lot of cool stuff on these shoots. And at the end of the day, it all stems down to the core value of We Scale Creators, which is quality, speed, excellence without shortcuts. We want excellence in every single thing that we do. And that goes as far as the restaurant that we go to with our partners. We want to take them to McDonald's. We want to take them to a nice place, how efficient we are with the shoots, the gear that we use, the hours and hours and hours of preparation that we put into every single shoot that we have with a client. It all stems back to our ethos as a company. And that saying of excellence without shortcuts is truly what we live and die by, even in little things like the quality of our shoots and obviously the quality of the ads that we get out of it.
Yeah. I think that pretty much covers everything. I mean, it's really, I'm pretty sure we pretty much covered everything here.
I mean, these shoots are awesome. Like we said, if you run an agency and you don't do this already, the reality is it is an investment. You said it well. It is an investment, especially if you're taking 3, 4 guys, gals, whoever out there, and you're flying across the country. Like, you're going to spend some money on it, but it's not an investment that is unfounded. Those, if done correctly and executed correctly, that money that you spend on that shoot for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever, will pay back legitimately 100x over the course of time. At least it does for us because of our intention going into it. So highly recommend doing it. The partners feel it. The team feels it. They get out of their office. They get to go, to a different location maybe they've never been in and tangibly see who they've been making ads for 6 months now. This is the sauce of We Scale Creators. This is what we do. This is the standard that we set. And if you run an agency out there and have clients, test it out. Or if you're a creator and maybe you don't have an agency or your agency isn't doing this, well, come talk to us because this could be your reality very soon.
Yeah, well said. That's it for We Scale Creators podcast number 5. If you want us to fly out to you, record all your ads, script them, scale you to 500K plus a month, go to WeScaleCreators.com. If you have any referrals for us, 100KReferral.com will pay you up to $100,000 for any creators you send our way. Hope you enjoyed this. We got a lot more coming soon.